Good morning, everyone. How are you today? I am so pleased that you have all made it to the Transformative Potential of Critical Pedagogy workshop today. My hope is for this session is that you all become familiarized with the concept of critical theory and pedagogy, how it can benefit and be transformative for students, and how it can be incorporated and benefit your own teaching practices. To start off this session, I would like to show you a compiled video that briefly explains and introduces you to critical pedagogy and theory and its concepts. While you are watching this video, I would like you to think about the information or concepts that are already familiar to you. I would also like you to make note of the concepts that are not as familiar to you. How have these concepts influenced your thinking, your teaching, and so forth? Let's begin the video.
Hi, this is Susana Rios, and I'm going to talk about Knowledge and Critical Pedagogies by Kincheloe 2010. So he talks about the deployment of knowledge from a dominant power. And Kincheloe explains that when the information is created, it's passed on to a dominant power who's in charge of the transparency and the accessibility of this information. They transform this information into a controlled information, and then they pass it on to the public. The public then creates an ideological consciousness based on this controlled information. Kincheloe also contrasts this model and talks about the deployment of knowledge from a power of difference. And he says, okay, so the information is created, but now the information is passed into the world as is. But whenever each of these individuals engage in an epistemological curiosity, the individuals start asking questions and want to know more about this information. They want to know where did it come from, and they want to search more sources to gather this information from. Now the information that is created is called transformative critical knowledge. And this is done through an evolving criticality routine. This is how critical knowledge is constructed. Now, Kincheloe also mentions that in the evolving criticality routine, humility takes an important part of this process. Because whenever an individual is able to craft the statement of, I know that I don't know all, they are acknowledging that there's many more things for them to learn. And in that search of knowledge, then confidence comes in and balances humility, and individuals engage with other people from other networks and create critical knowledge networks. According to Kincheloe, this process happens to know better what we don't now understand.
I think for me, fundamentally, it's more about critical consciousness, which Freire also talked about. And I think so much of how we are raised within our culture, it doesn't encourage that critical thought or that critical consciousness. And, questioning of why are things the way that they are, and why do we think the way that we think about the things that are around us, and why don't, and then more importantly, why don't we question those things, or why aren't we taught those things, and what kind of system are we in? Through critical consciousness, we empower ourselves, and we see the world around us from a very different perspective, not just that it's here. We kind of talk about like the fish in the fish bowl. It doesn't really know that it's in the water, until it's out of the water, and then it was like, I was there the whole time. And so it's kind of how we are. And I think we go through a daily process of just going through motions, and then when we stop and think about why we do the things that we do, and why we don't think about them, or why we think the way that we think about them, or that whole know thyself, beginning to question all of the things around you, not to doubt them completely, but I think like the whole like Descartes, kind of doubting everything. I think we do that is possible to get to the core of ourselves, because after everything is gone, there's only ourselves.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's get into a brief discussion on it.